Sometimes, as a little kid, words don't have to be said to you that you know silence is there. And I've had nightmares, and sometimes having nightmares and separating and finding out, is it a nightmare or did it really happen? Checking back and talking with my grandmother, my nightmares weren't just a nightmare, they really did happen. And somewhere around between the ages of 16 and 18 months old, my father was an extremely violent person. And at a very, very young age, I learned not to cry. I guess one night, for some reason, I cried, and he picked me up out of the crib and threw me out the bedroom window. I was left with my father's brother, and started out with touching, but very quickly increased. And my father was the type of person you could never say to him you didn't want to be there. You went there. If you said anything at all, you were beat. Everybody has this great thing, you leave your kid with a babysitter and you tell him to do what the babysitter tells you to do. My uncle tried everything. I guess I was his guinea pig, or he would try bottles, tried banana. And if at any time I flinched or cried, I'd end up in the closet. I was very lonely in the closet. And then just before I was 5, I learned how to have my mind leave my body. That anybody could do anything to me, and I didn't feel pain. And it was like I was over in one corner, looking at this body laying there, but I wasn't feeling anything. To this day, I still don't know if my aunt knew anything about it. Maybe I don't want to know. I can remember walking up the steps thinking, I'm not going to go up there. And there were 2 of us, because I would say, you go on up and do what you have to do. I can't be here now. But the day I came home from the hospital, my father came in and said he had to take me for a car ride. I remember my mom putting a white sweatshirt on me. And my dad drove the car, and nothing was said. He drove quite a ways. And I can remember we got out of the car, and it seemed like this hill was, to me it was a mountain. It was so high to climb. Just gotten out of the hospital. I guess I was still weak, I don't know. I climbed up the mountain. Before I'd gone into the hospital, I had a pet goat. And I heard the goat crying out. And I thought my dad was taking me to see my goat. We get up to the top of the hill, and the goat was tied between 2 trees. There was a feeling inside, my goat's gonna pay. My goat paid for me. My dad taught me how to be silent. For the longest time, all I remember is the blood all over the front of me, and my goat not saying anything. And I didn't say anything. For a short while, I was left alone, but not for long. I was left with my uncle again. My uncle didn't try anything quite so violent. I guess he figured he'd destroyed everything anyway. But he still played around. Time went on. We had another uncle move around. Up to this point, I had never been entered by the mail. Objects, yes, but not by them. But that uncle tried. And I had decided, this is what all men do, whatever. I was around 7 or 8 years old, and my brother had a club. And I wanted to be in my brother's club. And he said in order to be initiated, you have to take all your clothes off. I looked at my brother, and he said, you have to. Well, I wanted to be in the club. So I took all my clothes off. And the 2 older guys got on me, did their thing, which was fine. That's what man does anyway. But then my brother got on me. I guess that's the day I realized my brother was just like everybody else. Except I looked up and looked in my brother's eyes, and he started to cry. And I got up and I ran. My brother and I were very, very close. That night broke some trust with us. Because my brother really, all he wanted to do was be in the club with the rest of the guys. And I look back and I really don't think my brother knew what damage he was doing.